Hello everyone, I am Bosin Amafai and this is your Frontier Opening Bell, Monday, February the 3rd. We're here at the FMDQ Securities Exchange. Let's just get on through some of the biggest stories today. Of course, over the weekend, U.S. President Donald Trump hits Canada, China, and Mexico with a series of tariffs. That's rolling the global market as we speak this Monday, the first business and full markets week in the month of February. So that's the big story. South Africa also got hit. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a face-off coming through between Washington and Pretoria. President Trump tweeted over the weekend. There's been a response from South African President Cyril Ramaphosa over the last couple of hours on Monday on the issue of land matters and the economic and trade relations with Washington. All of that in play today. But just as you've seen right now is the markets. Where did we finished off over the weekend? The Nigerian market was down 0.24%, almost the same margin in the red for the market in Cairo, where the EGX 30 started the week, as it were. That's 0.31% on the EGX 30 below the 30,000 reading. Of course, we're going to see what the markets will look like today for the biggest exchange on the continent, the GSE, as far as the latest tariff by the U.S. president across some of the biggest economies in the world is concerned. And of course, making a hit towards South Africa and looking at some sanctions or so that could come, or defunding that could come down the weeks and months ahead. We're not too sure when that will, President Trump will make a formal announcement on South Africa. But let's go to the top of the headline news to start the new week. It's a very busy week on the economic and data front for a number of economies on the African continent. If you look at East Africa, February the 5th, that's going to be on Wednesday. Kenya's rate decision will be by the central bank. That is expected. And also the PMI data also from Kenya, Purchasing Managers Index, as well as that of Uganda. And sticking with the East African corridor, you find the Uganda interest rate decision. The Bank of Uganda will be making that decision on the 6th, which is going to be on Thursday. So keep an eye on those data. Very big news for Ethiopia. The head of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, will be visiting Addis Ababa for the first time. That will be on February 8 and 9, towards the end of the week, is the first major visit by the IMF chief, considering the economic reforms that Prime Minister Abiy is doing in Ethiopia and the engagement been going on between Ethiopia and Washington and the IMF specifically. Over the weekend, we got Kenya's inflation data for the month of January rising to 3.3%. This will be a major conversation and decision consideration for the Kamau Tuje-led MPC later this week. Kenya Power, however, good news, paying about 20 billion shillings in cash dividend to the government as a major shareholder in this power company that is listed on the exchange. First in 9 years, and that saw the shares of Kenya Power rising on the back of that earnings on the Kenyan stock, Kenyan Securities Exchange. Let's come back to Nigeria. The economies and others are getting more enthused about the Central Bank of Nigeria policies that's putting the Naira on a bit of a less volatile level. We're doing about 1,500, about 1,400. So the outlook for the 2025 economy is a little bit positive. We've seen the earnings season starting as well. Boafu's reporting fourth quarter pre-tax profit soaring 288%. A couple of other earnings are what investors are trading from today to go into February. So we expect to see more of those numbers coming through in the days ahead. What else do we have? Let's go to the rest of the continent in Southern Africa. And of course, I just mentioned earlier what the outlook is for the GSE today. Is anyone guess? We expect the South African market, the biggest and the number one emerging markets on the continent, to take a hit from President Trump's order to South Africa to order land grabbing, which has been denied by President Ramaphosa. The Eskom reporting half-year profit late last week, jumping to 17.8 billion rand, roughly 18 billion rand on higher tariffs. Eskom is asking companies and individuals who are installing solar panels on homes and offices to register them with the utility company. Otherwise, they face charges and fines and all of that. That is also in the news. Namibia, however, is applying for $150 million from Climate Investment Fund. And back in South Africa itself, the 15.46 billion rand was the trade surplus for December last year. And finally, in that region, Zimbabwe's Edgar Stores is looking to launch 20 new express stores in 2025. Pepco, the largest retailer, is also looking to open between 200 and 300 odd number figure of new stores. It looks like the retail market in South Africa is coming back after the pandemic and, of course, the problem with electricity and a few other issues in recent times, including, of course, high unemployment. But let's move on and finish off in North Africa. As always, Central Bank of Egypt is reporting $26.3 billion in remittances from Egyptians abroad. That's a very heavy figure. That's good news for President al-Sisi and the rest of his team in Cairo. Spain and Morocco next door says their underwater rail project will now be delayed until the year 2040. If you remember, the idea was for Morocco to get this underwater rail tunnel open and ready for the World Cup that is going to happen, but that's not been pushed forward a little bit. It's a major project that Spain is supporting Morocco to get on board. In the meantime, manufacturing inflation in one of the biggest economies in that region, Morocco, dropped 0.2% last month. And finally, Mauritania and EFDB, if you missed that in the news, signed a new agreement to develop the Mauritanians in Western Sahara livestock sector. And that is what the EFDB is putting some money on the table for this particular country in that region. These are some of the headlines as we start today, the 3rd of February. It's a Monday. I am Bosun Amavai. Hope you have a profitable day.